Hello everyone, Tango here, and today guys, I am very excited to bring you my new design for a 64 village iron farm that I'm calling the Iron Phoenix. This thing puts out 2,600 iron every hour and is capable of automatically recreating and repositioning its villages on demand, which means you don't have to build it in your spawn chunks, you can build it anywhere you want in your world. My primary goal with this design was to make the cheapest and easiest to build large-scale iron farm in existence. So aside from the lower resource cost compared to the other designs out there, it also has a smaller footprint and is going to require a lot less villagers needing to be moved around and shuffled around, which is such a pain. Alright, so how does it work? Okay, when you want to start spawning golems and overflowing your chest with iron, simply come over here and press this button right here to kick off the village assembly process. 64 villages are going to be created and moved into position over the next 90 minutes. Each of them are going to have 22 doors and be centered perfectly over the center of this farm. Now, golems are going to start spawning within just a few minutes, and the spawn rates will continue to increase over the next 90 minutes until all 64 villages are formed. At that point, you're going to be getting a golem spawning about once every 5 seconds. So you'll need to keep the area loaded while the villages are being assembled, as well as afterwards to continue spawning more golems. So next time you want to AFK and start the iron flow again, you'll just need to kick off the rebuild process, but as long as you stay AFK in the area, the iron will continue to flow. Your first important decision is going to be where to build this farm. Orientation does matter on this design, okay? This tall elevator here must be built on the west side of the farm. Now the whole thing is approximately 120 blocks in the east-west direction and 60 in the north-south. You can build it at just about any height you want, just make sure you accommodate for the water elevator before you get started. Okay, so supplies that you'll need. Let's go through these 3 chests here and quickly review what you'll need. These right here are just any solid blocks. I use them for the border of the spawn area, as well as the blocks for sky access, the sticky pistons push. They can be any solid block you want. Some signs, a bunch of levers, 70 of those, a bunch of glass. Now the glass is mostly taken up in the tower there. It does not have to be glass if glass is a problem for you, but I would definitely recommend it. It's good to see where the villager is and how he's moving through there, but glass is definitely not required there. Some sticky pistons, a little over 2 stacks, some torches to light things up, regular or redstone torches, 1 lava bucket, a ton of slabs, but these should be cheap to get. Obviously, I used iron here for the main block source. This is mostly just to form your platforms of the various levels here. Obviously, it does not have to be iron. It could be anything you want. A couple stacks of jack-o'-lanterns, some gates, some redstone, some comparators. Over here, a whole bunch of doors are obviously going to be necessary to build this because we're building a lot of villagers. Some repeaters, a couple of chests there, light on hoppers. This is really where we're saving on this design, as most designs are going to require a lot more hoppers, and we all know how much hoppers are a pain when you don't have an iron farm. So this was my main goal, is to really keep this one down, and you can even lower a little bit more if you want. Some droppers and some slime blocks, which this is probably going to be even the hardest thing to get right there if you don't have a slime farm. But that will do it for requirements. Alright, here we go. Let's get this started. So, first thing you're going to need to do is build 2 platforms like the ones you see here. They need to be 11 blocks wide by 32 blocks deep, with a space between them of 33 blocks, a gap in between of 33 blocks. The diamond blocks you see there obviously are not important. You don't need them. They're there just for measurement, just so you can make sure your spacing is correct. You'll also see I've got a big N up in the sky there. That is to show the north direction, and you absolutely want to make sure you get your farm oriented the correct way before you start building this, because we're going to be referring to north and west and things like that quite a bit. Okay, now we're going to build another layer on top of both the ones we just built there. You need a 2-block gap in between, just like that. And this time we're going to use some lit pumpkins, some jack-o'-lanterns, and some slime blocks. Now the jack-o'-lanterns are there to light up both platforms so mobs don't spawn on them, and the slime blocks are there because light passes through them. These are the only solid blocks that you can actually place doors on that emit light, and also that light passes through. So you're going to do this on both sides. Now, the 3rd block in from the inside is going to be jack-o'-lantern, then the 5th and 6th is going to be slime blocks, and then the 9th is going to be the jack-o'-lantern again there. So do the spacing just as you see it here, and then just mirror it over here, same exact concept, but again, coming from the inside, it's the 3rd block, the 5th and 6th, and again, the 9th block. And one more final layer, again, out of whatever block you've been choosing to build this out of here. This time we're going to go and hang the edges off by 5 blocks here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see they're hanging off by that much there. And the same over here on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hanging off by 5 blocks like that, okay? So this one here, there's also going to be a gap, a 3-block gap here on the 4th, 5th, and 6th block in from the inside. So 1, 2, 3... and then 4, 5, 6 up here, just leave a gap of air. This one here, then, just to double check, should be 8 blocks long, a 3-block gap, and then this one here should be 10 blocks long. Again, both of them hanging off by 5 blocks on either side. And then just go ahead and repeat the same thing over on this side as well. 8 blocks, 3 blocks, and then 10 blocks, and again, 5 blocks hanging off on each side, just to double check. Okay, now we are ready to get started on some of the redstone up on top of the roof for controlling sky access to the village doors down below so that they can correctly register with the villages. So, with this little 3-block gap here, again, we're going to put the first sticky piston, these are stickies here, pointing on that block there, pointing in toward the center of the farm with the gap on the closer inside portion right there, so obviously the block can extend. And then put another sticky piston up on top of that block there with another solid block. I chose to use different blocks here just for looks, honestly, but you can use the exact same, any solid block there will work fine. Repeater over here with a gap there facing into that block where it extends, and any power source behind the repeater to power it. You could use torches, whatever you want here. Levers generally tend to be the cheapest though. And then a piece of redstone dust right up on top of that block right there. So what this is here is when we power this line, which is going to be a line going all the way down, you'll see both pistons extend. And as you may know, piston heads that are extended are transparent to sky axis above. So all of this is visible to the sky. So the doors down below will all be able to register just fine. But that lever is not part of it. Then over here, repeat the same exact thing, just as usual, mirror it. So bottom side is pointing in toward the center of the farm, top side on top of that one. Again, you can see what we got here. And then just take this pattern, everything we just did, and stretch it all the way down to the end of the farm on both sides. All right, so now that we got that line in, as you see there on both sides, now is just as good a time as any to start putting your wooden doors in, okay? If you don't have the doors now, you don't have to do it at this point. You could literally put the doors in at any step during the creation of this process before you turn it on, and it'll work just fine. So you are going to need every block here to have a wooden door on it, and the same on both platforms there, okay? They have to be wooden doors. They can be any type of wooden door. They don't have to be the same type of wooden door. They just all have to be wooden doors, okay? Make sure when you place them, they are all facing in the east-west direction like this. And of course, you'll see some of these are going to power because the lever above it, you can just go ahead and close them like that. That's fine. So place all your doors in this east-west. Do not place them facing north-south like that, okay? It won't work. Everything in east-west, all the blocks down here, all the blocks right there, all the blocks on both of these layers right there as well. Okay, your doors are in, all 800 billion thousand of them or whatever it took. All right, now what we're going to do is add some more redstone up on top here. This is going to be our redstone signal strength incrementer that's going to go down this line here that is going to, one at a time, extend these pairs of piston heads to allow sky access one village at a time during the build process. So, from right here, a block out there, and then 4 blocks out like this. So just build that little shape right there, add a comparator right there, add another comparator there and there, okay, and put them both on subtract. This is important, so make sure they're lit up right there. Take a dropper and place it right there so it is adjacent to that comparator pointing this way here, and we're going to add another one facing into it by holding shift and doing the same thing again. So both these droppers are pointing into each other, okay? Now, what we're going to do is add another solid block here with a redstone dust on top of it and a torch on the side of it right there. Another block right there with a lever and power it, and so that comparator lights up right there, okay? Now, for these 2 droppers here, okay, this is the part that's a little bit, I guess, interesting. You are going to need to fill this with whatever you want, okay? It's a lot of it, but you got to have a lot of something. It's probably cobble is probably your best answer, maybe dirt, depending on whatever you've been doing. But basically anything that stacks up to 64 needs to go into this dropper right here and fill up the entire thing, okay? Then take some redstone dust and place it here and here, okay? And now it's important here that you don't do this backwards and get that okay, where this block here is dark and that one is lit up, all your pistons will extend and everything. You don't want to do that. So place this one first and then this one so that the one closer to the droppers is dark. All right, at this point, I do want to mention that some of the upcoming redstone we're going to be doing here may look a little complicated to some of you. Personally, it's not that bad, but I do want to mention that it is in lieu of some way more costlier designs in other 64 village iron farms. A lot of them are going to use 64 hoppers here that form a loop, and they pass one item through it to basically extend each of these pairs of pistons. That is arguably a simpler system, but is also way more costly, having to make all those hoppers. So just in case you're curious, that is why we're doing it this way here. It is cost savings, and it's going to be much cheaper. So moving on then, we're going to place a temporary block right here and put a power source here. When you're done with this step, you can just take both of those out. Come down here now and find the last piston that is extended now, also the last block that is powered, so that in this case right there, and put a torch on the side of that block right there, and 2 repeaters right there, and put these on maximum tick. And then go ahead and place a block there, there, and then a line of blocks all the way down until you get underneath this torch right here, okay? Place some dust now, coming down like so, and into the little dip there. Put another torch up on top right there. And then off of this guy, come dust, 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 just like that, okay? We're going to hook this up to the next bit in the next segment there, but just make sure it all looks like this right here, and you'll be good to go. Next, we are going to build another one of those pulse incrementers right here. So, block right next to that torch, and then come up a block like that, and turn that into a 4x4 with another block sticking out the backside like that. Take a comparator and put it right there, so it's pushing into that line right there. And take another comparator there and there. And again, put these both on subtract, important to remember that. Grab your droppers again, and one can go there, and the other one can go right there, okay? So that they're both pointing into each other again. And grab a power source right here, sorry, a lever, put it right there. And take or you want, in this case now, fill this hopper up again, or this dropper, sorry. Fill this dropper all the way up with items, and then take your dust and go there, there. Again, making sure that one is powered and that one is off. And then grab some solid blocks out of this one and go 1, 2, 3, so that it should be right up on top of that torch that we placed there. 3 dust like that, and a repeater on that first dropper there, and make sure to put that on 2 ticks, and you're all set. Okay, we need to basically repeat what we just did right here one last time over here. So go ahead and build exactly what you see right here, starting in at the 4th block from the end, torch, 2 repeaters along the end there with full redstone tick, couple blocks there with a torch on top of it. Okay, so it looks just like that. And then down here from the redstone that we left kind of hanging over there, put a block right there with a repeater coming out of the back of that block. So it looks like that. You can leave it on default ticks. And then just run this redstone line down however you want, like this. You're going to hear some doors open and close underneath. That's fine. If that somehow really annoys you, you can raise these up blocks, but it really isn't going to affect anything. It doesn't matter if the doors down below open or close. And run that into that torch right there. And again now for the last pulse extender over here, okay? Block here. I'm going to go a little bit quicker on this one because it's the exact same thing. Comparator right there. Comparator there and there. Put those on subtract mode. You want a dropper there, another dropper, if I could click, right there. So these droppers are facing into each other. Block here, lever, block, 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 dust, 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 repeater right there. Put that on 2 ticks. Fill up this dropper right here with all items. And then a dust there and there. And again, make sure it's the outside dust that is powered. All right, so now we need to add a reset line so that once we go through the whole sequence chain of 32 piston extenders, one for each village there, we need a way to reset them all and close them all back up again. So add a torch to the last block there, add a couple of dust right there, grab 4 comparators, there, 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 and there with a block up and a dust right there. This is your basic pulse extender here that's going to delay the reset of this just a little bit. Torch on top of there, block and a block on that side, so it looks like this. Now over here, add another block right there in front of the lever, with a couple of repeaters here. Put those on max tick. This is just a little bit more delay that we're going to need. And then from here now, we can start adding blocks all the way down. Take them all the way down. There's going to be a redstone on top of all this, which is going to reset our 3 pulse incrementers here. Put a block down there with a repeater right there. You can leave that one on default ticks. Add another repeater right there. I already had one there, but go ahead and place it there. And then a final one right there, okay, with a repeater pointing in there. All 3 of those repeaters are what's going to reset each of these lines. Now, just take your dust and run it all the way down this line here, putting a repeater right in front of that lever there. It's going to refresh the, it's going to refresh the signal coming down. It's also going to block the power source from that lever. So, and then again, just take this all the way down so it goes right to there to power that repeater there as well. Okay, in case you were wondering and we're trying to figure it out, yes, I did forget to tell you to place a repeater right there, okay? I didn't explain that on the first little dropper pulse incrementer here. You need a repeater right here and put it on 2 ticks. So basically just following the same pattern as the other ones. But again, this guy is flipped around. Okay, so at this point, what I would highly recommend is test to make sure that your piston line incrementer is going to work. So go ahead and put a button right there on the side of that first one. And then all the way down here, you can put a button on this guy right here. That's the reset line. And this is the increment line. Later on, we're going to have a redstone line feeding into this block here. But again, make sure that all your blocks are in that one dropper there and press the button and 1 piston should extend. Press the button again, another one, press the button again, another one. Continue this process. It's a little bit tedious, but I would recommend doing it, especially past the first segment there. So keep pressing this and make sure that every time you do, 1 piston extends out all the way down to the end. Don't do it too fast though, or it will get jammed up and you'll have to reset your items there. And then when you're done and it does work, go ahead and hit your reset line here and all of the pistons should retract back to their closed state just like this. So double check everything works. Once it's all working, you need to take everything we just built here and repeat it exactly over here. Okay, the only difference is it's going to be flipped. So everything that was down there, the one flipped segment right here is now going to be at the north end over there. So both sides it's reading from left to right. So from there over to there, over here, we're gonna do the exact same thing, only start there and work your way down. So the first one you're gonna do is over there, and the bottom one that you're gonna do is over here, or the last one you're gonna do is over here. And this is where the pulse extender will be with the reset line that is over there. So just take all of that, flip it, and put it right here. Okay, there we go. The second piston line, the full 32 piston line incrementer is in. Again, it is exactly the same as the one over there, just kind of flipped around. But since this is such a big jump cut, I will do a quick little flyby here. Make sure you have everything. Again, you know it's working when you can put those 2 buttons in place and test them. Increment it all the way down to 32. Make sure they all extend out. And once that last one is done, a few seconds later, they should all retract automatically. That's how you know it is working. So pretty much exactly like the one before. Okay, it is time to move on a little bit now. So there will be more redstone later on that's going to hook all these together and everything. But for now, these are kind of nice standalone enclosed systems here. The 32 village piston incrementers that reveal the doors below. Those are done. Again, we'll hook them all up in a little bit more. But what I want to move on to now is the tall tower on the west side here that the villager is going to be looping around. He's going to be the one creating all of our new villages and linking everything together. So with that said, come over here on your west platform and find this comparator right there. We're going to call that our middle. I know there is no middle because it's 32 blocks, but from that block right there, that comparator, come down to the end here and go off 7 blocks. These are temporary blocks. You're just counting. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? Those will be destroyed after this step. From there now, you want to take some glass and go 10 glass out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay? And then, like I said, you can break all of those guys there. This right here is the bottom track where the villager will, he falls down here, he will swim a little bit this way, and then he will go up the elevator another 70 blocks or so back up into the sky. Okay, so now that we have that base layer there for the villager to walk on, we need to kind of enclose it all now to give him, so we can put some water in here, and so that he can't get out, obviously. So just go ahead and enclose this whole thing, give it a nice edge, like this, make it too tall so he can't get out, like this on the end, and then bring it down here, just like that, okay? So again, just showing you from the inside here, he's going to drop right here. and swim this way, and then just go up the water elevator over there. Okay, so just make sure that your bottom is still 10 long and you didn't enclose it and make the end cap on that 10th one like that. Alright, so now coming in from the end here, on the 4th one from the end, so 1, 2, 3, 4, right there, put a sign. Okay, that's going to just be used to hold some water back. And then right here, what we actually need is a fence gate. Okay, so put a fence gate, put a block down there just so you can place the fence gate. Actually, place it that way right there. So you want the fence gate like that. Later on, we're going to power that fence gate to open and close it. That's basically when the system is done processing or building the villages. Your villager will be sitting right here pushed up against that fence gate, waiting for you to kick the system off again. And then from there, just put water there and water right there, okay? That'll flow down. So the villager now, when this fence gate is open, he will flow right through here, and when it's closed, he'll stop up right against that, that fence gate. So now we're going to work on the water elevator that's going to take our villager all the way up to the sky. We're going to go up about 68 blocks or so, I believe. So first thing, place a sign right there. It's going to hold back a water source block. And then get a 4-block gap around this this column right here. This is where he's going to swim up. And basically we're just going to start placing a lot of water with signs every 10 blocks. Now, the best way to do this is just to grab a stack of regular ice if you have it. I'm in creative, so it won't work, but if you just put regular ice and break it, it'll create a water source block rather than having to deal with all the buckets. So that's what I would recommend. But for this, I am going to just use water because it's easier and creative. And we're just going to keep doing this. You're going to do this, water, another one, and then water, and take this up, and every 10th block, just put another sign instead of a water source block. That way, obviously, you don't want your villager to drown and suffocate as he's swimming up this thing. But it is absolutely, critical that you make sure every column that is water is a water source block. Otherwise, also your villager will drown that way too, which you definitely don't want. So water source blocks up with a sign every 10, giving them gap, and just take this all the way up. All right, now that you have that water elevator going up 68 blocks. Now, I want to make sure you do it 68 blocks, or how I'm measuring the 68 blocks is what I'm going to show you now. So the villager's going to come up this area here. He's going to then walk onto another little pathway, very similar to the one we did down there. Okay, so he's going to come out here like this, and there's going to be a water source there. It's going to push him along this. So he's going to be walking on this surface here, and then from here, he's going to fall all the way down. So I want you to subtract the Y height of the two. So right now you can see I'm at Y 178 on this one here. All the way down at the bottom over here, this guy is 110. So you want a 68 block gap between the two surfaces that your villager is going to walk on. Okay, so just do the subtraction yourself, and that's how high he needs to go up. Make sure you get it right, though. Obviously, you'll change the timings of how long it takes him to go up here. If you go a little bit longer, it's not going to hurt too much. Going shorter could cause some problems, but just do your best to make it exactly 68. So then go ahead and finish out the walkway that your villager is going to walk across or swim across. And you want this to be 8 blocks long. So 8 blocks that he can walk on. So I'll count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can see from this side, it's not counting the water source, but the first block that he'll walk on, come out 8 right till right there. And then this is where he's going to fall down. So let me break these right here. And you want to enclose this area right here. Your villager is basically just going to walk across here and fall off the end. So place a sign there to hold the water back. And then basically somewhere along the edge here, it doesn't really matter, somewhere in the middle, you want to do basically like that. Put a water source now on top of your last one there. It'll flow, and then another one there, and it'll keep pushing towards the edge there, okay? And at this point, you can go ahead and close off the top completely just to make sure nothing gets in there, or somehow he doesn't get out if he swims up a little bit there. But there you have it. He's going to go over there, walk straight across here, and fall all the way down. Okay, so now we are going to start the process of building the long drop shaft that the villager is going to fall down. So as he's doing that, there's going to be some very key locations where we're going to want him to stop, pause momentarily, recognize some village doors, register them, and add them to existing doors so that we can create a village and start moving it into place. So the easiest way to do this, I'm guessing, is from the bottom up, given that you guys are probably in survival. So now would be a good time to add a cap on this if you haven't already. I guess I forgot to mention that to you. Obviously, leave this spot open here. Eventually, we're going to need to get a villager in here, so if you want to leave that one open and save the glass, but this is probably where we're going to drop them in, but we're going to save that till the end to get all the villagers in place. Okay, so bring the cap over and then cap this off like this. So now we have our column here, okay? Now this should line up exactly with the drop area all the way up. You can double check if you want to now. So from there now, we're going to go up 2 more blocks, okay? Bring the whole column up 2 more blocks so it looks like this. So we've got 3 blocks here, 1, 2, 3 from that area. I guess, I mean, you just look at the picture, you'll see how it works, okay? And then from there, we're going to put a solid block out, 1 block like that, because we're going to put some tripwire hooks with some string in between it. And there's going to be a lot of these tripwire hooks as we go up, not a lot, but I guess 3 or so. Because that's how we detect where the villager is falling and what state he's at. So from there, you can go up another, keep going up like this, and we're going to take this up 2 more. So there's 2 glass blocks between this tripwire hook and the next one. So just go ahead and repeat this again over here like this, and a couple tripwire hooks with a string in the middle. So there's a 2 block gap right there that you don't need like that. And then down here, there's the 2 blocks from the top of the roof from this downward area here to that tripwire hook. So it should look something like that. So I might have lied to you just a little bit here. We got to make a little slight correction here. I got ahead of myself. We actually need to break this string and a couple of these blocks here because we need to get a fence gate right here. And as you probably know, the only way to get a fence gate down is to place a solid block underneath it. For whatever reason, they still haven't changed that. So get the fence gate right above where the string would be, and then be sure to replace the string and then these 2 blocks just like that. What we need to do now is get this block right there to be a solid block, and we need to put a torch on the side of it. Let's see if I can do that without, probably not. Break the string, put the string back. Sorry about that. Okay, that torch is going to power that gate. Obviously, the gate should have just opened there. And then over here, we want to put a solid block with a comparator, and we're going to grab a couple of hoppers now. What we're building is the timing system for the villager to stand on. It's going to keep the villager in this place for just a second, for like, you know, a few seconds so that he can see the doors. So get these 2 hoppers here, make sure they're pointing into each other, just like that. And then grab 16 items of anything that is stackable, up to, you know, it's got to be stackable up to 64. Put 16 of those items there, and then put a torch right there. And you should see that you should have all 16 of your items in this hopper right here, which will power that comparator, which will turn the torch off and lock that or close that gate. So what we basically have here is a timed system where as the villager falls down now, he will land right here, stand on top of the fence gate, and then shortly thereafter, once all these items transfer, they will automatically fall through. Now, if your villager is going to be dropping onto this from great heights, it would be preferable if he did so without having his life come to an abrupt end, because that would be very unfortunate. Okay, so continue the glass column up a little bit more, and what we're going to need to do is put 2 water source blocks in here to break his fall. So a sign should go right there against the side, and then just come up 2 more like this, and then add 2 water sources. Make sure you get the bottom one first and then that one. Now, as he's falling down, the 2 water sources will ensure that he will not take any fall damage when he lands on the gate there. Now, from this, just keep taking this all the way up. All right, so keep your glass drop shaft going up, and up here we're going to need to build another hopper time release, fence gate release drop system, whatever you want to call it, looking exactly like the one we did down below. Now, in this clip and some of the ones to come, we're going to be doing a lot of things at very specific Y heights. So I'm going to keep measuring off of that baseline down here that we took before. And again, it's going to be this baseline here where the villager walks in, which consequently is also the height of our top platform here. So it'll be much easier. So let's just use this top platform for now. So mine, for instance, is Y equals 110. I'll try to remember to highlight it on the screen right now in case you don't know what the coordinate is. But we are at 110 here for my roof, I guess you could call it there. Up here now, we're going to build another one of these systems such that standing on top of this block, this solid block right here, is going to be 32 blocks difference in the Y height. Okay, so this one is obviously 142, so 32 block increase in the Y height there. Once you have that block in place, then go ahead and just build the exact same system that we had before. 2 tripwire hooks, make sure you get the string in between with the torch there and the closed fence gate down below it. Make sure you get the comparator here pointing into the solid block. 2 hoppers facing into each other with 16 blocks inside there. Torch, and you get the point there. I add a couple regular torches here just to keep mobs from spawning on this, which goes without saying. Everywhere that you want mobs to not spawn, which should be everywhere, don't be afraid to just spam the torches everywhere. So obviously the reason we want to get the villager to stop here and stand on that fence gate for a while is to recognize some villages or some doors and turn them into village doors so that we can start moving the village that we created up there and start pulling it down. So from this location here, which is 28 blocks above your roof down there. So I have a 28 block Y difference, or you can just do it relatively compared to what you see here. You know, skip a block there between your fence gate and come out. We're going to come out 10 blocks. So the first 8 are just counting blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 2 more that are going to actually be permanent blocks and make a little shape like that. And then you can break your temporary blocks right here. Okay. Now from there, go ahead and put doors, 4 doors on top of all of them like that, with solid blocks in the same shape, and then just bring it out 1 more on each side so that you're looking something like this. And then just go ahead and put slabs on top here so that nothing can spawn up here, a torch or whatever you want. And maybe a torch down here so they can't spawn inside the doors and stuff. So these 4 are going to be now valid village doors. Once the villager is standing on that gate, he will see them and register them. Okay, we're ready to finish off the drop shaft now. Make sure you obviously get your water break in here. 2 water sources with a sign right above the string, of course. Don't forget that or you'll be sad when your villager plummets to his death. Carry the glass all the way up here now, and hopefully it should link up perfectly with the drop area that you had already created before. And the only thing we're going to need to do now is add 1 more little door out here with this little oddball block here, and that's going to be... This is going to be the door that actually creates all of the villages here. It's going to be the first door. So we'll create here and then be pulled down by those, and then be pulled down further by things we're going to do coming up real soon. So what we need to do is, coming off of this little corner right there, come out 7 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7th one is the one that the door is going to go on. So I'm just going to move around here so you can see the counting and positioning of all this. You want to put a door on there just like that with a torch and get a block up and off to the side. Don't put it on top. Also, make sure your doors aren't being placed this way. That won't work. You got to get the doors facing in the east-west direction. It doesn't matter which way, though, east or west like this. It'll work the same both ways. But yeah, go ahead and get your door in with the block off to the side there like that. Get a torch so it doesn't light up. And then obviously break any temporary blocks. And you are officially done with your Tower of Death. Okay, so like I said before, at any time you can get your villagers into position, anytime before you want to start this machine and kick it off for the first time. But for now, I'm going to get one of these guys in here. And like I said, the best way to do it is to drop him in right there. Oh, nice, we got a nitwit. And he is going to sit right up against that fence gate. When he's there, that basically means the system is either not started, or it's not assembling villagers. It's either done or it's never been started. And it's waiting to be reset. You want to make sure your villager is right there before you reset your system for it to work correctly. But he should be there all the time unless you're actively underway with another reset. With that said, you are going to need almost 50 villagers for this whole design. You're going to need 4 in very key locations along the farm to create and move the villagers into place. And then you're going to need about 44, 45 or so, anything over 40 or so in a little holding area that we're going to do later on, basically under that N area over there. So definitely get a villager breeder. I'm not going to cover that in this. That's a whole separate category. Find out how to get a villager breeder going, get a bunch of them going, and start getting them ready to be moved into position with minecarts or whatever is probably your best bet. Okay, now that our tower is done here, we can move on to the next containment area that's going to hold our next villager. This one's going to be in a boat, and he's going to use this little slime block launcher here to bounce him up, and he'll be in 3 different positions. There'll be 2 fence gates up here that he can sit on, and then all the way down there. In the top position, he'll only be able to see the top doors. In the middle position, or in the second fence gate, he'll be able to see all the doors here, and in the bottom section, sitting on top of the actual slime block, he'll be able to see nothing. So the next few bits are going to be us building this little area to contain it, and put the fence gates in, and get it all wired up and everything, so that we can control him moving between those states. So the first thing we want to do is, again, find our center line here on the west side of the farm here. Take that comparator right there that we used before and come straight to the edge and break those 3 blocks right there, okay? And then down here now, we're going to build this little guy here, which I'll show you in a second. But the important thing is that he is 11 blocks lower than the roof that we've been using as our reference point. So for instance, you can see I'm at Y99 right now. And then up here is my standard 110 that I've always been using as my reference point. So drop down 11 blocks will point you to that guy right there, okay? We've got 3 solid blocks there, and there with a repeater on 4 ticks. going to a dust right there, and to a block up with a torch. And over here we have a sticky piston with a slime block on top of it. Over here we have another sticky piston with a block on top of it with a repeater pointing into it on 1 tick, okay? I pre-built all that just for convenience. Hopefully that's making it little things easier for you. Now again, just to make sure how you want to see how this lines up here, if you were to take sand and drop it right there in that middle block, it would fall right down onto this block right there. So just go ahead and get this all built out. Okay, so now we're going to run our power from that torch there up a little zigzag vertical slab pattern up to even flush with the roof up here. So from on top of the torch there, put a block on top of it. And like I said, we're going to zigzag. So honestly, I would just do a bunch of temp blocks like this. And just make sure the last one is a slab flush with the roof right there. And then you can put a solid block right next to it as well. And now we're just going to go down and stair step down like this, breaking those temporary blocks as we went. So like that, and break that one there. Okay, so you have something that looks like this now. And redstone on all of these going all the way up. So they connect to that solid block right there. So just so it looks like that. Now we're going to get some of our fence gates in there that the villager's boat is going to sit on, and some of the redstone torches that control it. So put a torch right there on the inside with dust right there as well. And now put a temp block right down like that so that we can get a fence gate on top of that one, just like that, okay? And now come down, let's see, come down like this. And we want 2 solid block gap in between and a fence gate right there as well. So we're going to have basically 2 fence gates stacked on top of each other with a 2 block gap in between, okay? So break all those temporary blocks there. We want to get now a block right there, even with the fence gate, and put a torch on it. And then another one over here as well with a torch on it. It's going to be 2 different ways we're going to want to control that fence gate. And then we also want to get a torch on that block there as an alternate way of controlling that fence gate. So there should be 2 torches pointing at each fence gate. And we're going to control all of their states independently. Okay, now we are ready to enclose this thing in glass, which isn't actually critical or anything to the functionality. It's mostly just to protect your villager, because you'd be very sad if a zombie got in here and he died or something like that. So what we're going to do is make a 2x2 shape, I guess you could call it, of glass right here. So this is, the boat is obviously wider than 1 block, so it needs a 2x2 to fit in. So go ahead and make this 2x2 right here, and then we're just going to carry this all the way up to the top here, okay? Right past the fence gates, all the way up to the roof right there. Do the same thing on both sides over here. Bring it up, 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 even right across that right there. 1 more on this side here, up like this. And now at this point, we want to go up 3 more blocks, actually, like this. Bring that one up, ignore that dust for now, and bring these 3 guys up over here, and then these guys here on top of the redstone up like that, okay? So, because this is where our villager is going to sit, right inside there. Now we want to add a solid block there. We're going to have to actually power through that block and then add some glass like this, because basically we're just trying to make this baby zombie proof. We don't want any baby zombies spawning anywhere up here and then somehow finding a way to get into our villager there and eat his face, because again, that would be much sadness. So there you go, get the glass column in all the way and you're looking good. It is now time for everyone's favorite part of getting a villager into this hole. We got to get the villager into a boat and push him off this ledge here so he falls down in there. Now, I have added a couple of extra glass blocks down here, which I would highly recommend, because once the boat falls down here, if it falls past those fence gates and stuff, you're going to want these blocks here to push it up against and kind of align it correctly. But again, just make sure you don't put anything next to the slime block or anything on top of the piston there, piston block. Okay, so how to get your villager up here is really up to you. I recommend just trying to get him at this height somehow. You know, that depends where your villager breeder is and all that. Go ahead and grab a boat, which would have been handy if I had one ready. And basically just go ahead and drop the boat down as close as you can. A lot of times he'll pop right in. Sometimes you have to give it a little nudge and he'll go in. And then if you want, you can try to push the boat in, or it's better sometimes just to get in the boat yourself and just go ahead and drive it in the hole here and fall down, okay? Now, at this point, you probably want to go to an F5 mode, and you're going to want to get the boat into the southeast corner. And I know this is getting very weird. Let me see if I can show you a better angle here. Okay, let's see here. Well, I guess the fence gate's going to cause some problems here, but you can see I'm kind of jammed into this corner here. Now, I'm going to hit shift then and get out, and then you can just ender pearl out or whatever you want here. Let me see. So yeah, you could just ender pearl out of here at this point if you want. I'm going to turn on the bounding box of the boat. You'll see it is wedged right in the corner. That was F3B, by the way, if you don't know how to do that. And you can see that boat is kind of jammed in that corner, and that's where he'll stay whenever he goes up. He'll always be kind of in that corner, even when he floats down here. So if he's on top of that gate, or if he falls down here for now, it doesn't matter, because we're going to reset everything anyway. So get your villager in there. Good luck. Okay, let's put in the next section of doors here. This is going to be the next piece of doors that's going to move the newly created village from up there. It starts up there, then it moves here, and then it's going to attach to these doors here and get pulled down even farther. So you want to add 3 blocks just like that right on top of your villager guy here, and then put 9 doors on top of the whole thing. So just cover the whole thing like that. Again, make sure the doors are facing east and west, and it should look just like that. And then go ahead and cover it up like this with some more blocks. We're going to carry these guys all the way back to meet up with your block right there. So they should touch up there. I think there should be 7 here total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. And then go ahead and grab some slabs, which I don't have. And go ahead and just place those on top here. This is mostly just for spawn proofing here. But we are going to leave a little bit clear right here. Nope, that and that. Okay, leave those clear. There's going to be some redstone there later on, so we'll be putting those in. So there you go. Well, hello there, hello there. This would be future Tango. I am coming back in time. I'm time traveling back to this point in the video to tell you that I just made a mistake and I fixed it, and I want to put it in the right spot in the video to avoid headaches for you guys. Those 9 doors that you just placed, okay, the 9 blocks that they are standing on, 3 by 3, those actually need to be top slabs. Okay, I do apologize for that, but now would be the best time to tell you that, so you can get and break them right away. And just replace the doors again on top of them, like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, you may see those as solid blocks for the rest of the tutorial. Again, I didn't find this until the end. I'm sorry, but they absolutely need to be half slabs, and that is because when your villager pops up, if they are full blocks, he will take a couple ticks of suffocation damage each time, and eventually he will be dead. So make sure that those 9 blocks are just top slabs right there. Sorry about the mistake. Okay, next we're going to add some droppers and some floppers and some hoppers and all that good stuff. So go ahead and add 2 droppers right here, like so, facing into each other. This one facing down, this one facing up. As you can see, double check all around, make sure it's not poking out the side or anything. That line obviously will power that top dropper. And then go ahead and put a single item of stackable 64 or whatever, anything, honestly, into the bottom dropper there. Grab a solid block right there with a comparator coming out of it so that we know when an item is in that one there. And go ahead and put another dropper there with a hopper pointing into it. And then this guy here, you want to put 64, a full stack of items basically, whatever you want there, into that hopper there, okay? This is basically our counter system where every time a villager falls through here, an item will be pushed through back into this hopper so that we'll know when the system is done. So we'll know when all 64 villages are formed. So also go ahead and just cover all this up here and then spawn proof it like that. And out of the side of the dropper that you just placed, go ahead and put a slab just below it, just like that there, with a comparator coming out of it, like so. And then break these 3 glass pieces right there. Put 1 there and 1 there. So there's a little gap in between there, and put redstone right on top of it. Grab some more solid blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then break that one and go down 1. So that one should be right next to the fence gate that we placed before. We're going to need a repeater right there to refresh the signal, and then just run this down the line like that. What this is basically is when the farm turns on for the first time, all those items are going to get sent over there, and then this is going to power down and open the fence gate, and that's going to release the villager so that he can start climbing up the tower to start the process. Okay, swinging around to the other side of your drop shaft here, and right there at a block. So there's a little air block right under your tripwire hook there, and we're going to hit this guy with some redstone dust there. And we're going to come down 1, 2 more like that. Keep the dust going there, and a couple slabby jabbies there and there. Another one there, cut into the corner there. And this guy's going to come out in 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over 2. And then we're just going to start coming this way. We're going to pick this up in a little bit later. But take this redstone and fill it all on here. And again, like I said, this line is going to run all the way down the back of the farm later, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, it should look just like this. All right, moving on. Next, we're going to make some downward redstone that's going to power that repeater down there. So coming out of the side of this hopper right there, go ahead and throw a comparator so that we know when the first item is in there. Get a couple blocks like this. Throw some dust down there. Okay, comparator will power through the block down onto that dust. And then this guy here, you can take a repeater because we're going to need to strengthen the signal. And then from here, you can go, we're basically just going to start spiraling down right now. So down like this, just an old school redstone line going down. We're going to have to go around twice if you want to keep it a little bit close to this. But however you want to get that signal down there is up to you. That one goes there, that one goes there. And we're going to connect it up again to this repeater right there. So let's go up a couple here. I'll stand back and show you how I have all this in a second here. Let me just get it in here. Like that, and then one more like that, okay? And then go ahead and just redstone dust the whole thing in. From there, down, down, up this guy. Make sure you just get all the pieces around all the loops. Like so. 1, 2, 3. Okay, got them all. And that should raise your piston the first time you hit that. So, let's see here. Hit it. There he goes. Okay, you saw the piston pop up real quick down there. Alright, so this is what I got here. Basically, just a little spiral loop that goes down. It doesn't really matter how you run it. Just make sure that it does reach and the signal strength reaches that repeater right there on top of that block there, and you'll be good to go. Okay, it is now time to add the 2 redstone lines that are going to be incrementers for our piston lines here that are going to expose sky axis one slice at a time here. We're going to have one come down here, which I have partially built already, and the other one is going to go down in the back to power that line over there. So first one here, coming off of this line right here. Both of them are going to be off of this tripwire hook, which is when the villager falls down here, that is when we need to expose sky axis. So from here, come down 2 blocks like this, and then connect straight over there. And from the line that we already had there, redstone, and connect it up here. And then I have some of this already built here for speed or just for convenience. You want to get 4 repeaters on full tick there. Come around the corner here, another repeater here. This one can be on regular tick here, basically just to extend the signal. And then we're going to go up some top slabs here. I'm putting these blocks here just for reference to you so you can see how they're laid out, that they're top slabs. Go up here, and then from here we're going to hook into this guy right over there. So grab this redstone and just connect it all right in there. So this step basically consists of from here down around 4 repeaters on full delay. Over here, another repeater to refresh, up, 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 over here, and into this signal here. And again, as you know before, this was the incrementer to extend our piston line here. Okay, now for the other line, which we need to run all the way over to the other platform. This one's a bit bigger, so we're going to pick up where we left off with this line here, and go ahead and place a repeater right there. Leave it on default tick. That's just to refresh the signal, okay? And then continue your slab line down here and take a turn, one off the edge, just like that, and start running it this way here, okay? All this right here is new. And right here, right 1 block back behind all your levers, you're going to start a repeater line, and you're going to add 12 repeaters, all on maximum delay. The last one should end right at this block that you have here already. And then from there, do a solid block, and then another slab, and then down 2 solid blocks like this. And then you're going to start doing some more half slabbing there, and run 10 more repeaters on maximum delay up to this point, and then put a solid block right there. So again, I'm just going to pan slowly back across this. 10 repeaters right there on maximum delay, a couple ticks up like that, and then a bunch of slabs all the way down here. Again, from this angle here, you can see it is just barely off the edge of that line there. We have 12 repeaters right here, maximum delay, around the corner, and then don't forget this guy here, otherwise the signal will never reach over there. Okay, so from that block now, we're actually going to split it. The repeater is going to power through the block onto this line here, which we will come back to a little bit later. But for now, we're going to go up and into this line here. So get these slabs in place now, okay? 1 dust, and then a lot more slabs. We're going to add 13 more repeaters on maximum delay. They're on 4-tick delay there, so add all those guys down and push it into a solid block there. That solid block, if you did it correctly, should line up with this redstone line here that you already have in place. Make sure you get some dust on top of there, and then back to the slabs. Add 5 more slabs with 4 repeaters on maximum delay. Cut around the corner there with some dust. 2 more on maximum delay, and then hook into our incrementer signal right there, just like we did on the other side. Again, double check that this repeater is on 2 ticks, not on maximum ticks, but everyone else that we just placed here is on maximum tick. Okay, so before we go any further, we need to next make the little holding area for this villager over here. It's going to look very similar to the one we did a little bit ago for the other villager in the boat over there. This is going to be for another villager in a boat here, and he's going to be responsible for seeing all the doors and registering them one at a time as he is called upon. So for starters here, we're going to, again, knock out 3 blocks here. This one is a little different, though. It is not perfectly in line with the middle comparator. It is 1 to the side. So see the line I'm on here, and it is 1 just to the side of that central comparator there. So make sure you punch that block out and the 2 adjacent to it, just like that. And then we're going to go down 11 blocks again. So just like we did last time, and again, just a refresher, I am here at 110, y equals 110 on my screen. We're going to drop down to, not on this line block, down to here. I'm at Y99. Again, just like the one we built over there, is the height of this block here. Okay, so here's what we're going to build here. We're going to build a couple solid blocks there, sticky piston holding a solid block right there, comparator on top of a solid block like that. Over here is a repeater on full tick delay with some dust. Don't forget the dust there, right next to another sticky piston holding up a slime block there, and we have 2 droppers facing into each other here. So make sure they're pointing into each other, and then just put a single item into this dropper right there. Now you're probably asking, well, how does this line up with this up here? Well, here is your drop test. So that sand drops right through the hole. So right there goes through the hole. So you could say this guy would line up with that block right there if you wanted to. So make sure to keep him on maximum tick and throw a couple torches in here just to keep everything lit up. But once more around, that is what you need to build. Okay, we're going to need a block up like that with another one down, another one up. Like so right there. And throw a torch on top of that. We're going to build on top of that in just a minute. Get a piece of dust on there. And then bring this guy over like this. And then, no, there we go. Up like that. Over to that dropper right there. And then we're going to run dust all down this line, down here, and throw a repeater. Right there, you can leave it on the default tick. And then as usual, go ahead and throw, a torch in there or whatever, just to keep things lit up over there. Maybe one over there, whatever works for you. And keeping it going now, we are going to throw a blocker right on top of that guy right there. And now we're going to start a glass column coming up to right about there with a solid iron block on top of it. And then down over here, we're going to start right in the gap, like right there. And bring this guy all the way up to there as well. Now here we're going to go, let's see, like that. We want to go up 3 from the top of your roof there, from there. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and we're gonna have some redstone on there. And then what we need to do is make another slab zigzag back and forth. So we're gonna start there, go there, there, and there, and then just redstone it all up, all the way down, like so. I missed one. No, I didn't. Okay, good. So it should look like that. Okay, so when this torch obviously changes right there, it's going to power all the way up and down to this guy right here, where we're going to have a trapdoor on the other side. All right, once you get that in, we are going to just add some more glass and finish building out this little cage for our villager guy here. It's going to be in the boat. So we want to go up there. We want to go up these 2, but make sure you leave that one open for when that piston extends there. We're going to take those up, and we're going to take these up right here. So carry up to the, basically up as high as they can go. Just go straight up here. These go up to the bottom side like that, I believe. Right there. This one goes up to right outside. You can even leave this gap open if you want. Easier to get in and out. I mean, there's really very little way the zombie's going to get in or anything. It's really up to you. But continue taking these up to 3 up here. So those 2, that guy, and then maybe we'll even do this side over here. Maybe we'll do some over here. It's up to you. But next we're going to have to get our villager in there. Bodie McBoat villager guy. Haha, I lied. I'm a liar and stuff. All right, we need to get our fence gates in there first. Otherwise, the boater ain't going to have nothing to fall onto. So get one up there like that, and then skip a couple of blocks and get the other one there so that there are 2 solid blocks between the gates like that, okay? Obviously, whatever blocks you use to put the gates on, make sure you get those out. Go ahead and break this block right in front of that gate. And we need a torchy there and a torchy there to control those 2 gates. All right, you guys know the drill. Get a villager up here in whatever mysterious, magical ways you can. Hopefully they don't run off like that. And instead, we hope that they stay up there. Villagers are awesome. We love them. We love the villagers. All right, we're going in. We're zipping around here. We're dropping down in. We're pushing back to the back wall like that. We're going to spin it around. Again, we want to be in this corner right here. In this case, it is the, northwest corner of the block. Try and get it in there like that. If you need to, hit F3B to turn on collision volumes, and you can see that the boat is jammed in there. All right, once you get Mr. Happy in there, go ahead. You probably want to put some glass on the corners here just in case a zombie gets on the roof. You don't want to... Sometimes they can attack villagers through the corners. You guys know how it is. And then go ahead and slabby jabby all this up right here just to keep everything out, everything happy. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Okay, and you're good. Okay, for this next bit, we are going to put in a rather long redstone line, picking up from where we left off a little while ago, right here. We're going to send a line that comes down here, over here, down this line, trigger some business over here, and then heads out down here, which is going to be to our easternmost villager, the satellite villager out there. So it's already built. I just want to show you now. I already built it to save time. So from this line over here, you're going to extend the slabs that we had, put a repeater right here. You could just say it's even with this line right there. Leave it on a single tick. More slabs, repeater right here. You don't want to blend in with this redstone line here. So throw a repeater there, which also extends the signal. Step up a slab right here. Run your slabs down a little bit more into a solid block. This is 5 from the end right there. So solid blocks so you can come down over here around the corner into a repeater. And then these 2 blocks here, you're going to take out of the roof and just lift them up right here so that you can stair step down this guy. Stair step all the way down. You don't need that block there. Stair step all the way down, and it should take you just like this, at which point you'll have 3 blocks left. Run those into the dropper. Cut a sharp turn to the left there. Some more slabby jabbies. Another repeater to refresh the signal. Don't worry, I'm going to run back through all this and give you another camera angle at it nice and slow. I'm just talking through it now. Onto a solid block right there, down. And then we're going to run another slab line all the way down here, okay? And this slab line here is 26 blocks long. And you want to get a repeater down a little bit of the way, like right about there to refresh the signal, and then one at the very end. So let me go back here and I will show you again a little bit slower so that you can see what's going on again. All right, slabs down, repeater right there. Keep the slabs going even. Repeater right there to, it's imperative that you don't want to blend in with that line there. Step up right there where the pistons are, over here into a solid block right there. And then step down right there over to the repeater there. Pop these 2 blocks up from the roof so that you can step down. And I'm just giving you camera angles of everywhere here. Turn the corner right there. And step down right there. And then this last line here, I'll cam out so you can see the whole thing. It should be 26 blocks long with repeaters as you see them. And move it all the way down to the end here. And what we're going to do now is build a little pulse extender here. So a couple dust on this little platform just like that. Grab 4 comparators there and there, there and there, block there, and some dust right there. And that is going to keep our redstone signal alive just a little bit longer. Go ahead and put a block down there with another little dust on top of it. Grab a sticky and stick it right there with a block on top of it. And this block right here now is where we're going to put our last villager that's going to be part of the village creation process. This is the guy here. There's going to be doors above him that's going to pull all those villages way over here because we're going to add a ton of doors right above this guy. So go ahead and build a little happy fortress of eternal solitude here for this guy and bring it up 3 like that. And then go ahead and place your happy villager inside there. Greet him and say hello. And go ahead and slab up the roof like this with slabs that cover the roof like that. And finally, we're going to add the doors up on top of this guy's head here that he's going to be able to recognize. So when he gets extended and lifted up here is the time where he'll be able to see those doors. Otherwise, when he's down there, he won't be able to see them. So what you're going to do is build a 9x3 platform here above his head, centered, or I guess offset, like you see here. So there's 2 blocks on that side, the one he's on, and then what, another 6 over there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Build it just like that, okay? And then it's 3 deep like this. So you got a 9x3 platform. Now we're going to place some doors. The first 2 rows, the ones on the western side, or the side closest to the farm, are going to be full. So 9 and 9, 18 doors. And then the back row here, we're only going to have 5 doors. So leave off the 2 ends there. So no doors there and no doors there, okay? Once you have them all in, then just go ahead and add another slab roof like this. That's going to make them valid village doors, and this is 6 blocks deep, starting at the first set of doors right there. Okay, moving it along now, we are going to put in the reset line now, which is basically this green block right here. You need to strongly power. That is what you're going to hit this button, or if you want to make a torch tower all the way down to the floor or something, that's fine too. All that matters is this block gets strongly powered, and when it does, it's going to reset the whole farm back to its initial position. It's going to release your villager over there to start climbing the tower, and it's going to, more importantly, kick off the entire process to start forming all 64 villages. So this is what you press as you want to start a new AFK session. So I've got most of the main line built here. There's going to be a couple little shoot-offs of this, but let's cover the main line first here, okay? So starting directly underneath this block that you had here, okay? That's a 1.5 block gap there from what was there. All right, you want a flat block there, and then we're going to just do a slab line all the way down here, okay? Up until you get right to the edge of the roof over here. Repeater, couple blocks up, 1 down. This is mostly a visual thing here, okay? So just follow what you see. I'll try to go slow so that it's obvious. Slabs down here. This is even with that floor there all the way over until you get to this pumpkin line right there. Put a repeater right there to refresh the signal. 5 more slabs, stair step up until you get to the corner right here, and push the line right into the back of a new block that you're going to place right there with a torch on the back. That is going to invert the signal and then dust down the edge here, and we'll pick that up in just a little bit here, okay? So going back a little bit slow here just so you can kind of see what's what here. I'm going to move down to the other end and right here. Okay, so again, you hit that button and it's going to just take this slab line down here, put a repeater to refresh the signal with a 1 block gap between the edge of that roof line right there. Again, repeater will refresh the signal, more slabs, down here, another repeater directly under that piston. More slabs, and more slabs down to you until you are basically 2 away from the end of the roof over there. Cut a corner, put one more repeater to refresh the slab there, or to refresh the line. 3 more slabs right there, and then we're going to start stair stepping down with solid blocks, and these are in sync, or in parallel, I guess you could say, with the other stair step that's there. So just run that one down exactly the same. 1 more repeater right there coming out of that final block, and run it into the line that should already be there right up next to that dropper there. So basically when you reset the farm, the item that's in this dropper is going to kick over, and that's part of the reset process there. Alright, so now for some of the offshoots on the reset line. One of the things that we obviously need to do is reset this whole piston line back to its default state and set all the pistons back to retracted so that it looks basically like it looks now. So off of this bottom reset line that you just added, add a slab right after that repeater with a block up like that, and dust is going to run you right up here into this line here, which I just placed before this clip. Repeater to refresh the signal. Down, 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 up a couple blocks, repeater, and you basically want to power right into this, which will power down that line and power all the way down there to reset all 3 of your dropper incrementer things we did a long time ago. And of course, we need to do the other side as well, much simpler over here. So from that repeater, right off of your reset line, off that repeater, you already had your dust there. Pop up here for 4, and then up a couple blocks like this with a repeater pushing into this line here, and obviously that'll power all 3 of them going down the line there. And over here on the west side again, by our first Bodhi villager here, we need to place a repeater right there and get a couple blocks to stair step up here like that and like that. Okay, so there's a 4 block, or the repeater is 4 blocks off of where that torch was right there. So make it look like that, hop it up like this, another block like that, turn him around the corner like this, and we're going to want to power that guy right there. So just take these guys and go into that like that. So this line right here will power that block, which will power this dropper, and take the item in there and push it up to the top, which it looks like I just did actually. Go ahead and throw a slab on top of there so it doesn't spawn any zomboids. And then down here, down below, we're actually going to break this and use the same line to power or invert that torch there to trigger the gate to make the villager fall down if he happens to be on there. But when you do that, make sure that you also put some slab or some glass back here again, because you don't want any baby zombies sneaking under there. And one more little bit here on the west platform as well by our villager here. We need to take this repeater source here and power down to this block down there. So we're going to place a block right there and break the block right there that the repeater will then power down into that guy, okay? From down here now, come up 2 blocks like that, and put a dust right there, and then a block right there, and we're going to take one more repeater and put it right there. So repeater powers into that, dust, repeater pulls off of that, powers into that, into the dust, and down and in to toggle that torch right there. That's what's going to allow our villager to fall down from the second gate. So it seems I've apparently kicked off a rebuild. I'm already on like village 6 or so. There goes our villager up the tower now. But that's okay. We could actually just keep building this thing as we're going here. So we're actually getting close, guys. So bear with me. I know this video is ungodly long. Anyways, on our pulse extender here, this is when the end of the first line is done. At that point, we need to lower our villager down from the top fence gate to the second fence gate where he is now. So we're going to put a torch right there, okay? And that's going to go into a couple slabs. We're going to hold a whole slab line here. We're going to have 4 repeaters on maximum delay there. Solid block here is important because you don't want to get powered by that lever down there. Up a couple slab steps there, and then over like this with another repeater there on default tick just to refresh the signal. Over and into this block here to power that dust that we should have placed about a year and a half ago. Yeah, but pretty straightforward stuff here. I'll give you one more look down here. Again, this torch fires. That's when we're done with our first line here, and the villager will drop down one door. And then we're gonna have to do the same thing on the other side. And over on the east side, very much the same. Off of the same pulse extender we have there, drop a torch, couple dust on some slabs there, into 4 repeaters on maximum tick. Block right there, just like before. More slabs up here, hop up a little bit like this, and we're gonna run it into a sticky piston here. So we got a sticky with a block with a repeater coming out. It's just a simple pulse limiter. Make sure to put that guy on 2 ticks right there, and then just run the dust down this line here into a repeater right here on default ticks. Break that glass, change it into a solid block, break these 2 right here, and run the dust over there so it can power that fence gate. And then just go ahead and replace those 2 glass so that zomboids don't crawl in there and ruin your day. And one more look here. I'll just go by slow here because I said that kind of fast. I have a tendency to do that sometimes. All right, so they got a piston right there, slabs like that. I'll just back up here so you can see the whole thing. Pretty easy stuff right there. All right, guys, it is time for the infamous bucket of villagers. It is time to get 40 villagers over here, a little bit over 40, we play it safe. So the way this works now is every 10 villagers that you have in range of your village allows 1 golem to be in the spawn area at the same time. So if you have less than 10 villagers, you'll never get any golems. If you have less than 20, you'll only ever have 1 golem spawning at the same time, and that will severely limit your spawn rate. So there's many times where you're going to have 2, 3, sometimes even 4 golems on your spawn platforms at the same time. So in order to allow that to happen, which is what we want, we're going to have 40 plus villagers split between these 2 blocks here, and that's to accommodate for max entity cramming. Obviously, we don't want to put them all in there if our max entity cramming is 25. So we're going to split them and put just over 20 in both of those, okay? Now, the way you find this location, this is critical that you get this distance correct here, which is why I've colored these blocks here. From our solid power block over here, the one we were powering to reset the whole line, come down 5 more blocks right there, as you can see, and then from there go over 13 more blocks right there. So the whole bottom line is 14 blocks total. And again, I've colored them so you can see, double check, look for yourself, count them, make sure everything is fine. Once you have that those distances correct, go ahead and build this shape right here with like a nice little glass platform and 2 solid blocks. Those blocks are where you want to get your villagers on top of. Now from there, just go ahead and start building this all the way up. Go up another 3. So in 2, 3, like this. And then don't forget, of course, to add the middle column so that they can't They can't meet and shake hands in the middle there. And what we're going to do is add in our villagers here. How you get them in here is up to you. Minecarts, water streams, use your creativity, but just get them in here. So you can see I've got 21 over there now, and over here I will just take this up to 40. Now you can see my E in the upper left corner. I'm counting how many entities there are here. Make sure you're not looking at other entities when you count these. Like, don't look down at the ground and count ground entities. If you want to count these for real, it's best to probably like get right underneath and look up and make sure you're not looking at anything else. You can see I've got 42 villagers in there right now, so we're good. And then once you're done, just go ahead and cover up the top there. Now, there is one other thing I want to mention right now, and that is you want to add a cover to this. So come up like another, 5 or 6 blocks or so, and you want to add, just do this out of slabs here. Add a little platform of slabs here so that nothing can spawn up here, but also this is your lightning protection. So as many of you know, am I covering everything here yet? 2x5? Okay. You want to cover the whole surface there, just up. As many of you know, if lightning strikes a block near a villager, I think it's like within 4 blocks vertically, he will turn that villager into a witch. So you don't want to have your whole stack turned to witches here. That'd be very bad and very sad, and yeah, you don't want that. I've taken the N out here. I'll probably add the N back in future clips, just so it's there for the world download. The other thing that I want to mention is over here, I didn't tell you to make a lightning protection pad. You probably want to do that as well. Again, just come up 4, 5, 6 blocks or so to protect this villager here from being turned into a witch. So add a little platform up here. Make sure you cover all the bits down there and everything. Just make sure whatever you do, you don't cover up this line over here. Otherwise, you will never get villages spawning again. Alright, it is finally time to make the spawn platforms for our golems to spawn and fall down through. Now, it is at this time I feel obligated to say that I'm aware that there are other designs for slightly more efficient spawn platforms, okay? But I need to say that first, we're talking 1 or 2% more efficient, it's negligible, and in my opinion, they look a lot more cumbersome and are a lot more complicated to build. Personally, I like to be able to come by here and just watch my golem spawn on the various platforms and fall down. But if you want that extra 1% or 2% edge at most, then you can definitely go find how to do those on some of the other iron farms out there. But I'm choosing this one for simplicity and looks, and because it just works, and it works great. With that said, though, we already got our first customer here, which is a very good sign. Even though I don't even think this build has happened because the redstone wasn't even done yet. But it's a good sign that we have a golem there. So, where to build these now, okay? First, what you want to do is come off on the west tower here. I added the N back up in the sky there, okay? Off of the west platform here, okay? You're going to come in 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, okay? And then diagonal from that guy, or I guess you could say just come in 6, is your block right there. Come off 1. So there's a 1 block gap between the edge of the platform and that corner, okay? Now, once you have that corner, you're going to make a 21 by 21 square with half slabs underneath it, okay? Obviously, the half slabs are not, they're top slabs so that the golems can spawn on them, okay? Fill the whole thing in, very simple, and just leave a 3 by 3 in the middle of all 3 of them, okay? You're going to build 3 platforms. Obviously, the one I showed you is the top one, and there is a 3-block gap between each one, okay? Like so. So just go ahead and build all 3 of those, and then I'm going to show you how to add the water in there. Okay, for the water, super simple stuff here, very easy. What you want to do is take some iron bars. These don't have to be iron bars. I think they look good. You could use full blocks if you want there. And the way we're going to add water in the corners is like this. Imagine there was 3 blocks like that, okay? We're going to be adding water all along the sides on every block like that, and on every side like this. And then when we get to the corner, we just want to put one right on top there, okay? You don't need those blocks there, but it's just to show the point of where you should not be placing water. Water should not go on that block, or that block right there, okay? Do that to all of your sides and all of your corners, and all of your water is going to push right up to these edges here. If it fell off, then you got some measurement problems. You want to check some stuff here. All the water should come right to all of our edges here, and all the golems that spawn will be falling down the hole now. Okay, so for underneath the farm here, there's a lot of things you should be thinking about. You're probably going to want to build a massive storage room. Obviously a good killing chamber. You might want to be creative. I've been known to do that myself. You're probably going to want to make an area where you can craft your ingots into blocks and store the blocks. A lot of things you got to think about here. How far do you want to drop your golems? For this, I'm just going to keep it very simple. I'm going to do a simple drop shaft, collect the iron with a lava killer, and put it into a chest. We're not going to do any sorting systems for poppies or anything like that. I'm going to leave that guy up to you guys. But from the bottom here, personally, I like to make kind of the minimalist drop chute here, just a guide for the golems from the middle of each edge there. With glass, that right there is sufficient for the golems to not escape. They're too fat to fit out the edges there or whatever. And then from there, you're going to want to start thinking about how you want to... let me come down a little bit more here, actually. We'll come down a couple more like this, and a couple more like that, and then grab some hoppers now, okay? What you want to do is have all the hoppers going into a common output line. It doesn't really matter which hopper points into what, just make sure you don't have any loops in there, things like that. Now from there, you're going to want to have at least a series of chests here, okay? This hopper, I know, is not pointing to that chest right there. At least a series of chests. You're going to have, you know, if you AFK for one night, you'll fill up easily 6 or 7 double chests. I haven't done the math yet, but it'll be significant here. So I'm just going to, again, do the minimum here, like so, like so. And then you're going to want to fill up the edges here like this. Only at the bottom is this necessary because you want to catch any excess iron in case it pops out and the hopper doesn't pick it up or anything like that. Let's actually go one more like this. Okay, we're going to grab some signs and some lava. Like so. Place your signs. Let's see, they go right here, there. Same thing on the other side. You just want to cover up all the squares. Hold shift and get one into the middle. You can do that one on the edge and that one right there. So you have all 9 squares now filled up with stuff. Signs, yeah. Place a temp block there, put a lava source there. You can break the temp source. That'll flow out to the edges, and you are good. As the golems drop down now, their head will burn. Their iron gets caught into the hopper chain there, obviously. If you want, you could put carpets down there. There's a lot of options you could do. You could have massive projects that even just begin right here. But this is the simplest right here. You made it. You made it. The final step. You finally got here. We have one more step to do here just to finish things off here, and that is to make it so that golems can't spawn on this platform. Because, you see, as the villages are being created and moved into position here, there is a brief window of time where each village is actually kind of sitting right on top of this platform here. So there is a small chance that it could spawn a golem up here at that time. And it's a very small chance per village, but when you have 64 of them, you might get one every other time you rebuild this whole farm here. So we want to prevent that just to keep them off here. And because, you know, if you get too many up here, it might start counting toward your cap on your villages and stuff, and it could mess you up. So golems need 4 non-solid blocks of vertical space. Okay, they can spawn inside slabs. So a golem could spawn right there, and he would be right inside the slab. And it's just, golems have their own spawn algorithm and everything. It's just very weird. But all we need to know is that they require 4 vertical blocks, and they are more than 1 wide. So what we're going to do is make these like stripes like this, okay, and carry them down here so the golems can't spawn anywhere in here. So to do that, go ahead and start over right here on your middle guy here. Now, I should mention this is only for the eastern platform over here, this guy on this side here, okay? You do not need to do this on the western side over there, okay? So from your middle dropper incrementer thing here, put some blocks on either side of the that repeater right there. Be sure not to change the subtract mode on your comparator there, okay? Take this one all the way down to the edge of your platform right there, and then take this one, actually, this is important. You do not want to cover these 2 lines right here, either the piston or the block it's pushing, okay? Because those are the ones that need sky access. But this line here, you could take all the way over to your glass villager containment area like that. And from there, just go ahead and skip every other block, okay? If there are more cases where you need to do some redstone shenanigans like this one here, probably just go ahead and do the same thing. Just make sure you do not clip any redstone lines or anything like that. And then over here, same thing. Carry this one down like that. Another one right here, like so. And then when you're done and you have all the slabs in, go ahead and, or all the crossbars in, go ahead and slab them up. And at this point, you can even slab on top of any redstone you have. This is just to make it look a little bit better and to keep mobs from spawning off here. So you don't want to get any zombies or especially creepers or anything spawning up here. It could ruin your day here. So finish all these lines up here. Again, do not cover this up. Don't cover it up with slabs either. Don't do anything there. Just keep those 2 blocks empty the whole time there. And when you're done, I will show you what it should look like with a completed set. And there you go, there you go. Just a bunch of simple little bars, very easy to do. You can see I didn't even take it down this far on the south side, didn't even mess with this guy at all here. So one block off the spawn platform there is easy enough. And then down here, I didn't really even mess with this guy at all either. So really, it's just a question of this guy here. And I just kind of, like I said, I just put some blocks around the redstone and the repeater there not to even mess with it. Other than that, bunch of solid stripes. This one here, I kind of had to do a little bit around the redstone there, no big deal. And these were all unobstructed by redstone or anything. So just carry these all the way down. And again, just a quick aerial view of what you're looking at. And guys, you are done. Let's see how this thing works. Okay, if you have made it this far, I owe this to you to show you how this thing actually works. So what you see here is a mod, a client-side mod I have called the Villager Marker mod. And what it does is it draws lines for every door in a village, and it draws a line to the center point of that village. So every line you see here is pointing to one of the doors in a village. The big rectangle box area is the area where iron golems could spawn if it met all the right criteria of having enough doors, having enough villagers, that sort of thing. And the dots here, you see in these big circles here, represent the radius of the village. Now, they're all color-coded here, okay? The first one is red, and the next one it creates will be a different color. But what you can see here is the village is originally created all the way up there, a single door. Then it merges in these doors, moving the center down there. Then it merges in those doors, then the ones on the actual door spawn platform, then all the doors over there, and then finally the doors in our actual eastern spawn platform there. Now, the important thing to note is the only doors that are actually going to stay are the ones obviously on the spawn platforms. All the other doors are temporary, and you can see they're timing out right now and being removed from the villages that they were used to create. So right now, all that's left is these doors over here. Once these go, then this center point is going to go boop and pop right into, should happen right about now. Any second now. There it goes. Okay, good. So you can see this is our red village now, and it is perfectly centered inside this spawn area here. And those lines represent the center point of the village. So the golems for this village can spawn on the top platform or the middle platform, okay? So all 32 villages on the top side get the top two platforms, and all villages on the bottom platform here get the bottom two platforms. So the other mod now that I want to show you, and this is what makes it really cool. So right now it takes, a little over a minute to create one of the villages, okay? Because the villager has to swim back up here. And that's actually why this design is kind of elegant, in my opinion, is because there's no timer to control how fast we can create villages, because it takes exactly the right amount of time for this villager to swim up this water elevator and then come back down and create new ones. So I also have a tick rate mod on here that I'm going to kick up the speed of the game now to 10 times its normal tick rate, and you'll be able to see the villages being created at a very rapid rate, which is extremely cool, I think, and pop into place. You know what, let me kick it up even faster here for you guys. This is not time-lapse, this is just the game running at super fast speed. You'll see the villager is basically just climbing up that elevator in just a few seconds now, where it normally takes a bunch. But you can see every village that's created starts on that tower over there, gets stretched over to the east side, and then recenters in. And the reason you can only see the most recent color is because all the villages are perfectly overlapped in that center point. And you only see the one that is most recently added. Now this will continue. I'm going to slow this down because it's actually pretty hard to fly in this tick rate. This is going to continue. You can see what door you're on right now. So we're on like door, what is that, 10 or something there, I guess, I don't know. This is going to continue all the way down here until it gets down to the end here. And then all of these are going to retract back in, and our villagers are going to go from this gate down to the gate down below, and they're going to start doing the exact same process again, all for the doors down below. Once that one's done, then you're pretty much done with the whole thing, and you're going to have 64 villages, all perfectly overlapped, all right in the center here. You can see even with 10 already here, it's already starting to look very pretty and very cool. But when you get 64 in here, it is amazing, and that's when the golems start flowing. All right, guys, that is going to do it. That is everything. I want to thank all of you so much for watching, and please remember to do me a favor and hit that like button on this video if you can appreciate the massive amount of effort that went into designing and putting together this tutorial. And if you are new to the channel, I definitely recommend you consider subscribing for more crazy tutorials like this one, as well as for my very, very unique LP series on the Hermitcraft server. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. This is Tango. I'm out.